How you do one thing is how you do everything. Now, let me explain. All of the little habits that you do correlate to a bigger picture, correlate to a bigger scene. Um, it correlates into bigger actions. Examples are if you wake up and you don't make your bed, right, at any point during the morning, and you just wake up, chances are you're in a rush. Your mindset's in a rush. So you're going to rush to take a shower. You're going to rush to eat breakfast. You're not going to slow down and actually take in what you're eating or even make the time to cook something to eat because you're in a rush. And then when you go to work, your whole day is in a rush too because now you're thinking about what you need to do when you finish work. You need to wash up those dishes. You need to grab groceries, and your whole day is in a rush. Your whole mind is in stress mode. And it all started with the first action that you did in the morning, which is to not make your bed and just get up and rush through the day. But if you were to rewind, if you were able to make some time to make your bed, make sure that the blanket is completely over your bed and there's no creases or anything like that, and then the pillows are aligned correctly. You fold the top part of the blanket a little bit so you're able to tuck yourself in once you're ready to go to bed. You do all that. You focus on all of the details. Then you move on to maybe making breakfast or something. You crack the eggs, you put it in the bowl. You're going to make an omelet. You're focusing on the details. You're focusing on the present moment because you already set your mind to a very relaxed state, a very organized state, a very disciplined state the moment that you got up. So it correlates to everything throughout the day. So now when you go to work, you're not really rushing, you're having that morning coffee, that sip of coffee at work, or when you finish work, you're not rushing to get out the door. You're slowly packing your things. You're going to punch out, and then you're going to go to the gym, but then you're going to have a very um, good workout, and you don't feel like you have to rush for anything because your brain isn't in order. You organized the tasks in your mind. You spaced out your time wisely for what you need to do. And you know this works for everything else too in life, man. It's if you are a very fast speaker, you know you speak really fast, like you talk like this, like nobody understands what you're saying. Chances are you might be a very anxious individual. You're not a very patient person because you're not allowing yourself to slow down and articulate your words properly. And that can correlate to even like the tasks that you perform. You may be playing video games that are very fast paced, high paced, like online shooting games and blah, 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 pressing a button here, pressing a button there, pressing a button here, pressing a button there. That may just correlate to everything else. You know, that may correlate to you eating very quickly. You want to rush everything, right? So a lot of these like little behaviors and tasks, they go like hand in hand, man. You know, how you do one thing is how you do everything. It's an absolute fact. If you are a believer of God, and if you pray, you know, frequently, and say you might miss a few prayers, you may have a sense of grievance in your heart. You may feel really bad inside, and your behavior may start to change. You may start thinking about other things that you're not supposed to be thinking about. But if you are disciplined, if you're able to pray at the correct times, or if you're able to pray frequently on a daily basis, not only is that making you disciplined, but it's also giving you clarity and focus. And it also, discipline is like, it spreads into all other aspects of your life. So if you are disciplined with your faith. You're also disciplined with. You might be disciplined with your health. You might be disciplined with your money management. You might be disciplined with your how you handle relationships with people. You may be disciplined with your other side projects that you're working on. You know, it all goes on that keep running. It's difficult. It's very challenging, but it's more rewarding in the end. It is a lot more rewarding. There have been so many times in my life where I was consistent with certain things. I was consistent with my diet. I was consistent with waking up early, consistent for maybe months. And then the moment I took a day off, the moment I took maybe a couple of 3, 4 days off, I became inconsistent with waking up early at 6 a.m., 5 a.m. And it just became a habit. It's so easy how bad habits can just become habits again. It's so easy to go back to the old version of you. It's so easy, but it's so difficult to maintain that new version of yourself until up to the point where it just becomes a natural habit to be disciplined. It's very difficult to eventually get to that point because a lot of us feel overwhelmed. It's like we feel like we have to take on a burden of everything in our lives. We got to be disciplined in our diet now. We got to be disciplined in our grooming habits. We got to be disciplined with our money management. We got to be disciplined with this, disciplined with that, disciplined with this, disciplined with that. But it all starts with the small things. Like I said before, like making your bed every day. Start with small positive habits, and it can lay the foundation for bigger habits, for more positive habits, for your bigger goals and ambitions. It all starts with the foundation. It's like learning a math. You gotta learn addition first. You gotta learn subtraction. You gotta learn the basics first before you can move on to exponents. Before you move on to fractions. Before you move on to like the more complicated concepts. But it starts with you staying consistent. That's what matters. Anyways, thank you for watching. See you next time.